On Monday, the United States reiterated its commitment to defend the Philippines in the event of an armed attack, based on a 1951 treaty, following a series of confrontations between Chinese and Filipino vessels near a disputed shoal in the South China Sea. In response to Sunday's collisions off Second Thomas Shoal, Philippine diplomats lodged a strong protest by summoning a Chinese embassy official in Manila. Although no injuries were reported, the incidents resulted in damage to a Philippine Coast Guard ship and a wooden-hulled supply boat operated by Navy personnel. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. convened an emergency meeting with the Defense Secretary and other top military and security officials to address the escalating hostilities in the contested waters. The Philippines, along with other neighboring countries, has been steadfast in resisting China's expansive territorial claims over a significant portion of the South China Sea. As the incidents continue, countries such as the Philippines are seeking U.S. military support. After the meeting, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro strongly criticized China in a news conference, condemning their use of brute force that endangered Filipino crew members. He also accused China of distorting facts to conceal its aggressive actions. Teodoro emphasized that the Philippine government considers China's recent aggression as a blatant violation of international law. He stated that China has no legal right or authority to conduct law enforcement operations within Philippine territorial waters or the exclusive economic zone. President Marcos ordered an investigation into the high sea collisions, but specific measures that the Philippine government will take were not disclosed. "We are treating these incidents with utmost seriousness at the highest levels of government," Teodoro affirmed, noting that the government aimed to provide accurate information through the news conference. He further criticized the Chinese government for deliberately obscuring the truth regarding the incidents. The Philippines intends to raise concerns about the dangerous maneuvers of Chinese ships during discussions between China and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations regarding a proposed non-aggression pact, also known as a Code of Conduct, aimed at preventing major conflicts in the South China Sea. The negotiations, which will take place over 3 days, are being hosted by Beijing starting on Monday. Two Philippine officials, speaking on condition of anonymity due to a lack of authority to publicly disclose details, informed the Associated Press about the Philippines' plans. Defense Secretary Teodoro expressed irony in China hosting talks that aim to prevent conflicts at sea, considering their recent blatant disregard for international law. The territorial disputes involving China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei have long been regarded as a potential flashpoint in the delicate fault line of U.S.-China rivalry. The events leading up to this concern involved 5 Chinese Coast Guard ships, 8 accompanying vessels, and 2 Navy ships forming a blockade on Sunday to prevent 2 Philippine Coast Guard ships and 2 boats from delivering essential supplies to Filipino forces stationed at Second Thomas Shoal aboard a stranded Navy ship. Commodore J. Tariella of the Philippine Coast Guard reported that during the standoff, a Chinese Coast Guard ship and another vessel struck one of the Philippine Coast Guard ships and a supply boat. Only one of the 2 Filipino boats managed to successfully deliver supplies to the Philippine forces. When summoned by Philippine foreign officials, the senior Chinese diplomat reiterated China's claim that the Philippine vessels had intruded into Chinese territory. Zhou Ziyong, from the Chinese embassy in Manila, once again called on the Philippines to address China's serious concerns, fulfill its promises, refrain from provocative actions at sea, avoid dangerous maneuvers, cease groundless attacks and slandering of China, and promptly remove the illegally grounded warship. That was the statement quoted from Zhou Ziyong. Zhou's statement referred to the Sierra Madre, which was intentionally grounded in 1999 and now serves as Manila's territorial outpost at the shoal. On Sunday, the Chinese Coast Guard placed blame on the Philippine vessels for the collisions and alleged that the Filipinos were carrying construction materials to fortify their outpost at the shoal. The actions of China have raised alarm among the United States and its allies. The U.S. reaffirmed its commitment to defend the Philippines under the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, stating that it is obligated to respond to any armed attack against Filipino forces, ships, and aircraft, including those of the Coast Guard, anywhere in the South China Sea. The U.S. State Department, through its embassy in Manila, issued a statement expressing solidarity with the Philippines and condemning the dangerous and unlawful actions of China's Coast Guard and maritime militia that obstructed the Philippine resupply mission to Second Thomas Shoal on October 22. The statement emphasized that China's ships engaged in dangerous maneuvers that violated international law by intentionally interfering with the Philippine vessels' exercise of freedom of navigation in the high seas. The State Department also referenced a 2016 arbitration ruling that invalidated China's extensive claims to the South China Sea on historical grounds, including in Second Thomas Shoal. While the United States does not assert any claims to the disputed sea, it has deployed forces to patrol the waters in order to uphold freedom of navigation and overflight. These actions have drawn criticism from Beijing, which has repeatedly warned the U.S. to refrain from intervening in what it considers to be a purely Asian dispute.